Hello student, I would like to discuss session 1 of unit 3 of software engineering, which deals with software architecture and planning a software project. So in this session, the student would be able to evaluate the system architecture as well as develop a detailed design or task from the overall estimation and planning of a software project. So this is the course outcome 3 of unit 3. So before I begin with my actual content, I would like to show the contents which I am going to discuss in this session 1. And the session 1 contains, first one, you will see what is software architecture. Second, we will discuss what is the difference between software architecture and software design. Third, we will see what are the different roles played by a software architecture, why software architecture is important in the overall software development lifecycle. And fourth, we will discuss what are the different views of architecture. So this is about the topics which I am going to cover in session 1. So let me begin with a question to you. So students, what exactly you understand or comes to your mind when I say software architecture, and why the software architecture comes into picture? So imagine like there is a build there you need to design a system based on the technical requirements. Okay, so when the system size is large and its complexity is too high, then designing the overall process of the system becomes a tedious job, right? So in such a situation, what you have to do, you would like to bring down the complexity of the system. So how that can be done? So such complex system has to be partitioned into subsystem, and each subsystem can be further divided into modules. So this concept we call it as divide and rule, right? Now, while designing such subsystem, it is very much necessary to identify all the subcomponents of the system. Not only the subcomponent, along with the subcomponent, we have to identify its interface and the rules for interaction between the subcomponents. So here, software architecture plays a major role in building the overall systems by following ways. The first way would be like it integrates various subcomponents, right? So we understood that the overall module gets divided into submodule. So we have to integrate these submodules. Fine. In this, software architecture comes into context. Then distribution of work to teams for developing components in parallel. Right. So I want to distribute my work to my teammates so that all the activities executes in a parallel way. Fine. And third way would be like planning and defining strategies for software development and testing. Okay, so you have to plan and come up with a strategy that would help you in software development and testing process. So for this again you would require software architecture, and then understanding the overall big picture of the system. Okay, so in this way software architecture play a major role in building the entire system. So now let us see what all software architecture would provide. So software architecture provides fundamental description of the system, right? So it gives you the fundamental properties of the system, right? Then second, it also deal with the details of the component that make up the system, right? Why? Because we understood that the system comprises of many components. So it is very much necessary for us to identify what each components comprise of, right? Then third point, software architecture provides significant collaboration between the components. And fourth, it also provides data and control flow of the system. Fine. So I can say architecture overall it deals with the high level design of the system. Example, so example would be client server architecture. So in this architecture, server provides some kind of services and client would request and make use of those services provided by the server. Okay, so I can say like there is a server, fine, and you have one client. This client would access or would ask for a request from the server, and in turn server would send you the response. Okay, so client is making use of services which is being provided by the server. Fine. So this is how the client server architecture communicates. Okay, so next we will go with the next topic. What is software architecture view? So in this you will see the software architecture gives you the concept in which you have you understand that software product contains software element and what are the relationship between each component, right? So software architecture gives you the or provides you the concept which tells you that each software product contains software element and relationship among the different elements. Then purpose of software architecture would be to reduce the software complexity, right? So what would be the purpose behind software architecture? To reduce the software complexity. And how that can be done? It is through abstraction as well as through separation of concern. Then third, software architecture provides you the documentation which would assist the software developer to facilitate communication, and sometimes it also helps you to reuse of certain components. Okay, then software architecture tells you how the system or like what the system is built. Okay, so it is a mixture of art and science, or how the system can be designed or can be built. The next, software architecture has different views for a different system. So the view would be module view, structural view, then deployment view, then thread view, okay, or data view or data model, right? So each model would have a different highlights of the system. Then next, software architecture also deals with the architectural style and pattern, wherein we will see architectural styles like pipes and filter, blackboard style, and shared data style. Fine. So this gives you the overall picture of software architecture, what all it provides to the software developer. Okay. So next we will see architecture building blocks. So in architecture building blocks, module would be the basic building blocks of architecture. So I can say this as my module 1, fine, and this as my module 2. Okay, then what would happen? Then there should be a connector between these two modules such that the interaction takes place between module 1 and module 2. Fine. Why interaction has to take place? Because see, if module doesn't communicate with each other, then how would you pass the data? We know that the whole component gets divided into separate module, right? So it is very much necessary to share the data among these modules. So without connector, communication would have not have happened. So in order to have a communication, there should exist a connector which connects these two modules in order to have a interaction. Fine. Okay. Then when I say architecture as a good architecture? When it minimizes the coupling between the modules. So when I say like there exists a minimum coupling between the modules. What do you mean by coupling? Coupling means one module need not know much about like much information about another module. Okay, so one module need not know much information about another module. Then it should also have a maximum cohesion between each module. Means the contents of each module should be strongly interrelated with the content of the another module. Okay, so that is the meaning. So this is how module gets connected through a connector. Fine. So if these two are satisfied, then I can say the architecture of the system is a good one. So now in this, what do you understand? Module acts like a building block for an architecture. Okay, so that was about architecture and architecture building block. So next we will see how software design is different from software architecture. So when I consider factors like decisions, then in software architecture, what would be the decision? Decisions would be local. Okay, so whereas in software design we make global decisions. Fine, because see, software architecture deals with the high high level detail of the system, whereas software design we deal with the low level detail of the system. Then interaction in software architecture, interaction happens between external components, whereas in software design interactions happens between internal components. Then with respect to design, in software architecture it is high level, right, whereas in software design it is low level. So we have gone through first factor, second factor, third factor. Fine. So let me deal with the fourth factor, which speaks of system properties. So with respect to system properties, software architecture provides you the fundamental properties of the system, whereas software design gives you the detailed properties of the system. Then fifth factor speaks of development strategy. Software architecture deals with what the system is built. Okay, whereas software design deals with how the system is built. So we basically get the knowledge of what is there in the system in case of software architecture, whereas in software design we basically focus on how the system is built. Then sixth, use. With respect to use, software architecture would define high level infrastructure, whereas software design would implement the entire software system. Okay, so this is about the difference between software architecture and software design. So next we will see what are the roles of software architecture. So the first role would be promoting understanding and communication among stakeholders. So what do you mean by this? So what is understanding and what is communication among stakeholders? So software architecture represents a common abstraction of a system that most or if not all the system's stakeholders can use as a basis for mutual understanding. Andre ಏನು, there would be stakeholders, right? Stakeholders andre yaar ivaga developer can be a stakeholder, right? Business people or customer can be a stakeholder, organization itself can be a stakeholder, right? So if something has to be understood, then there should be a communication between the stakeholder. So ಯಾವುದೇ ವಿಷಯ ಆಗಿರಲಿ ಅದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ತಿಳ್ಕೋಬೇಕು ಅಂದ್ರೆ what should be important? Communication should be important. So software architecture, it would provide you understanding and communication among stakeholders. Okay, so that is the first role. Then second role would be reuse of the software components that are already built for the previous system. So in this case, what would be the role? So software role descriptions can help the software reuse. So description of the software would help you to take a decision whether you have to reuse the design being built or being designed for the previous system. So reuse is considered as one of the main techniques by which productivity can be improved. ಯಾಕೆ ನಾವು reuse ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ? In order to increase the productivity. Okay, so thereby reducing the cost of the software. Then the architecture has to be chosen. So ಯಾವುದೇ ಆರ್ಕಿಟೆಕ್ಚರ್ ಆಗಿರಲಿ ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಚೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂದರೆ it should be chosen in such a manner that the components which have to be reused should fit properly and together with the other components. So one component na ನೀವು choose ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ ಅಂದರೆ architecturally that should be reused in such a way ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ choose ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂದರೆ it should fit properly and together with the other component. ಉಳ್ಕೊಂಡಿರೋ ಕಂಪೋನೆಂಟ್ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಫಿಟ್ ಆಗಬೇಕು. ಓಕೆ, so that they provide the features that are needed. Fine. So this is the second role. Then third role, software architecture promote construction and evolution of different parts of the system. So it helps you to construct and evaluate the different parts of the system. ಯಾವುದು software architecture ಹೇಳೋದು ಆಯ್ತಾ. So fourth role would be analyze or predict the properties or behavior of the proposed system to be built. So ಏನು ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ ಸಾಫ್ಟ್ವೇರ್ ಆರ್ಕಿಟೆಕ್ಚರ್ ಹೇಳೋದು ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ? It would help you in analyzing the behavior of the proposed system that has to be built. So these are the four roles played by the software architecture. So next we will see each role in detail through diagrams. So the image tells you that there are stakeholders. So stakeholder ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ categorize ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ? He would categorize stakeholder as internal stakeholder and external stakeholder. Fine. So then who comes under internal stakeholder? It is project manager, then project team, then company and funder, right? Whereas in external stakeholder, who would come? Customer, then government and supplier, right? So there are 3 external stakeholder and 4 internal stakeholder. Then what has to happen? ಏನಾಗಬೇಕು? There should be communication between project manager and the customer, between project team and the customer, right? So why this communication has to happen? So that all the requirements which was being given by the customer will be clearly understood by the internal stakeholder. Right? So that is why for this you need to have a software architecture. Okay, so without software architecture it becomes a tedious job for internal stakeholder to understand what the customer wants. Fine. So that is why architecture has to be designed for every software development process. Fine. So this is about understanding and communication. So next part would be reuse. So reuse of software components. So how reuse of software components could help you in coming out with a better system, right? So we see that the oval shape filled with a green color denote knowledge resources, whereas the rectangle filled with a yellow color deals with the processes that has been reused. Okay, so we know that to start with, the customer would give you the business requirement, so through which you will come out with a domain knowledge, right? So domain knowledge comes under knowledge resources. From this domain knowledge, what you have to do, you have to explore the domain such that you come out with a domain model. Fine. And sometimes you would have to also use the library, and where this library would be used from the previously built system. Okay, so that is why I can say sometimes this library can be reused. Why? Because we define certain library for the previous system. So if you feel that the same library can be used for this software product also, then you need not define it separately. You can just reuse it. Fine. So design for reuse, as well as you can also make use of certain design which was basically built for the previous system. Fine. So design requirements. So you will go through the design requirements and you feel that certain designs are already built for the previous system. So what you would do, you would just reuse the design. Fine. In order to come up with a new model, new design model for the new system based on the business requirement. Okay. So what you understand? You understand here that certain components gets reused, for which software architecture is required. Fine. So this is about reuse of software component. Third role would be construction and evolution. So what construction and evolution tells you, when we are given with a business and mission goals, then we know we start first. What is the first phase? We have to understand what is the business requirement from the customer side, right? So then we start designing the architecture such that the architecture will partition the system into parts. Some architecture provided partitioning can naturally be used for constructing the system. Okay, so sometimes it divides the system into small component, and sometimes it architectures will help you to construct the overall system uh, by connecting the components. Okay, so which is also required that the system be broken into parts such that different teams can separately work on different parts. ಆಯ್ತಾ? So ಏನು ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ architecture basically divides the uh, overall complex system into different parts. ಯಾಕೆ divide ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ? So that in a team there will be many teammates. So each teammates can separately work on separate system. Okay, so ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ construct ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ? So it would divide first and then it would conquer, right? So divide and conquer rule concept apply ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ. It will break down the system into small parts, and then after working on each system you have to construct and evolve to come out with the entire system. So ಈ ರೀತಿ ಸಾಫ್ಟ್ವೇರ್ ಆರ್ಕಿಟೆಕ್ಚರ್ ತುಂಬಾ ಮೇಜರ್ ರೋಲ್ ಪ್ಲೇ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ. So this is about construction and evolution. Then fourth role would be analyzing or predicting the properties or behavior of the system. So what you actually do here? So you do some sort of analysis. It is possible to analyze or predict the properties of the system being built from its architecture. ಹೌದಲ್ವಾ? So properties of the system can be analyzed from the architecture. For example, the reliability or the performance of the system can be analyzed, fine, so using some architecture model. So such an analysis will help you to determine whether the system meets the quality and performance requirements, and if not, then what has to be done. Okay, so ಅಕಸ್ಮಾತ್ ಕ್ವಾಲಿಟಿ ಮತ್ತು ಪರ್ಫಾರ್ಮೆನ್ಸ್ ರಿಕ್ವೈರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ಸು ಫುಲ್ಫಿಲ್ ಆಗಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದರೆ then what you have to do with the requirement so that it satisfies the standard. Fine. So ಇಂಥ ಅನಾಲಿಸಿಸ್ಗೆ ನಮಗೆ ಏನು ಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ? ಆರ್ಕಿಟೆಕ್ಚರ್ ಮಾಡೆಲ್ ಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. Fine. So those are the roles being played by the architecture. So now next we will discuss what do you mean by architecture views. So in software the different drawings we call as a different view. So what do you mean by view then? A view represents the system as composed of some types of elements and relationship between them. So view ಏನು ಹೇಳುತ್ತೆ? ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ನ ಕಂಪೋನೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ರಿಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ. ಅದೇ ಥರ what are the different elements and what is the relationship among the elements. So elements used by a view depends on what the view wants to highlight. Fine. So a view describes the structure of the system. Fine. So architecture view for different software system would be different. Fine. So depending on the broad nature of the elements they show, architectural structure can be largely divided into three groups. So what does the second point say? View consists of elements and relationships between them and describes the structure of the system. ಇದು ನಮ್ಗೆ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗಿದೆ. Then elements of a view depends on what the view wants to highlight. Okay, so different view exposes different properties, and that's why view has been proposed mainly into three types. What are they? The first one would be the module view, okay, and the second one would be the component and connector view, and third one would be the allocation view. Fine. So how the architecture view gets classified into, so it basically gets classified into three different types: module view, component and connector view, and allocation view. Then so there is a diagram which tells you that for a given system, architecture can follow any of the view. Okay, so model 1 view speaks of module view, whereas model 2 view speaks of component and connector view, and model 3 view speaks of allocation view. Okay, so you can follow any of the architecture view, so which basically tells you that you can have three different views for a particular system. So let us discuss now. Let us try to understand what is module view. So here the elements are modules. So in the module view, what would be the elements? We understood that in architecture view, each element would be there. Like there would be a component would consist of elements, and what is the relationship between elements alva. So architecture view andre ಏನು ಹೇಳುತ್ತೆ, what is the element and what is the relationship between elements. So in module view, particularly in module view, what would be the elements? Elements would be the modules. So what is module then? It is the collection of code unit. Okay, so units of implementation. Basically they do not run, that's why they do not represent runtime entities. So module represent code based way of considering the system. They are assigned areas of functional responsibilities. Fine. There is less emphasis on how the resulting software manifests itself at the runtime. Fine. So basically module view inda namge following questions na answer ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ help ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. So what would be the questions like, what is the primary functional responsibility assigned to the each module? So module view ಏನು ಹೇಳುತ್ತೆ, what is the responsibility being assigned to each module. Then second, what other system software elements is a model allowed to use. So ಬೇರೆ ಯಾವ elements model use ಮಾಡಬಹುದು, ಅದು ಕೂಡ module view ಹೇಳುತ್ತೆ. Then what other software does it actually use? So ಬೇರೆ ಯಾವ software particular architecture would use. Fine. Then fourth one, what modules are related to other modules. So ಈಗ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಏನರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತು, there are many modules, right? So how modules are related to other modules? Is it through generalization or specialization or inheritance ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದು ಆಯ್ತಾ. So for answering such questions, module view would help you to answer. So functional module andre ಏನು? Functional module andre it includes packages, procedures, okay, methods, classes, functions and subroutines. So all these becomes the elements of module, elements of architecture view, which is module. Okay, so relationship between them is code based. Example, part of depends on calls, generalization, specialization, etc. So this is about module view, and there is a diagram which tells you that the main module would comprise of submodules. Say main contains edit menu, file menu and option menu, and in turn the submodule file menu would comprise of submodules like new, open and save. Okay, so here basically what are the elements? Elements are modules. Okay, so main module is nothing but it is not a runtime entity, whereas it is a code way representation of the system. Okay, so that is what we need to understand. Module. So next we will see component and connector view. So what is component and connector view? In this, the elements would be the runtime components. Okay, so which are the principal units of computation. Along with the component, connector would be the second element which basically helps you in communication among the components. So component and connector structure would help you to answer the questions like what are the major executing components and how do they interact ಆಯ್ತಾ. ಸೊ ಆರ್ಕಿಟೆಕ್ಚರಲಿ ಯಾವುದು ಎಕ್ಸಿಕ್ಯೂಟಿಂಗ್ ಕಂಪೋನೆಂಟ್ ಇದೆ, ಯಾವ್ಯಾವ ಎಕ್ಸಿಕ್ಯೂಟಿಂಗ್ ಕಂಪೋನೆಂಟ್ ಇದೆ, ಹಾಗೆ ಹೇಗೆ ಅವೆಲ್ಲ ಇಂಟರಾಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ to answer this question, component and connector view would be the most appropriate one. Fine. Then second question would be what are the major shared data stores, and third question would be which part of the systems are replicated. Fine. So in the questions ಗೆ answer ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂದ್ರೆ you would get it when you go through component and connector view. Then how data progress through the system. Fine. So how data flow from the one component to another component in the entire system. Then what parts of the system can be run or can be executed in parallel. So basically what I'm trying to tell you that component and connector view helps you in answering such questions. Okay, so components would be a unit that has identity in executing system. So examples would be object, processes, executable. See, all three are runtime entities, right? Then connectors provide means of interaction between these components. So it could be pipes or shared memory or socket. So this is about component and connector view. So there is a diagram which tells you that there are two components which are runtime entities, and one component is connected with the another component through connectors, right? So one component is connected with the another component through connectors. And what can be the connector? Connector is nothing but it is a link which connects two components. Or sometimes the communication or connector may also have an interface. Sorry. So this interface would help you to establish a communication between these two components. Fine. Okay, so this is about component and connector view. So the next one would be allocation view. What is allocation view? So allocation structure mainly deals with the relationship between the software elements and the elements in one or more external environments in which the software is created. So what would be the stress that is kept on? Focuses would be on how software units are allocated to the resources like hardware, file system or people. Okay, then this allocation view would help you to answer the questions like what processor does each software element execute on, okay, and in what file each element stored during development. Fine. So during the time of development, testing or system building, what are the different files of each element that is stored, ಆಯ್ತಾ. ಸೊ ಇಂಥ ಕ್ವೆಶನ್ಸಿಗೆ ನಿಮಗೆ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಬೇಕು ಅಂದರೆ allocation view would be the most suited one. Okay, so allocation view will specify which process executed on which processor, and similarly how the system file are organized in a file system. Okay, so specifies relationship between software elements and execution units in the environment. It exposes structural properties like which process runs on which processor and which file resides where, etc. So this diagram clearly tells you that if there are three folders, say library, configuration and resource, then library folder would consist of binaries like basic calculation, which would perform operations like addition, subtraction, multiplication and division. Then advanced calculation, which would support operations, some advanced operations like logarithmic, factorial, triangle or logic. Then statistics binary, which would help you to compute average or to calculate the variance, sum, mean, etc. Okay, so all these three modules would be in a library folder. Fine. Similarly, in a configuration folder, what will be there? In a configuration folder, setup file will be there, right? So init.ini, initialization file or installation file. Then similarly in a resource folder, you would have the resource file which is required for the project. Fine. So you can see the executable, calculator executable, which would make use of all these binaries. Fine. So all these binaries act like a resources. So allocation view tells you what are the different resources which is allocated to which file or to which particular module, right? So that is how allocation view represents the different resources being allocated to the different component of the system. Okay, so with this allocation view is also clear, I hope. Then okay, so let me consolidate all three views. What did you understand in module view? Module view basically deals with the decomposition of a system, right? Then it make use of a layered approach. Then it also provides you the class, right? Whereas component and connector view, it basically deals with the interaction. So component could be client server, fine. When there is a client server, then there would be a peer-to-peer communication, fine. Request, reply, response kind of thing. Okay, so request, response kind of thing. Then component and connector, it provides you the concurrency, fine. Then processes comes under component and connector. Why? Because it is a runtime entity, and data are stored in a repository. That's why we make use of which architectural pattern we make use of shared data architectural pattern for component and connector view. And similarly, allocation, it may mainly deal with the work assignment. Okay, so work assignment of each developer in the system. Then it also tells you which architectural view it deals with. It deals with the installation view or deployment view as well as implementation. Okay, so this is the consolidated diagram which gives you the information on all three views, architecture views. Okay, okay. So with this, I would like to come to an end for my session 1. But I would like to discuss some multiple choice questions so that whatever concept we have gone through, it would be more clearer to you by answering the questions being given. So let us discuss the first question. The first question say, why is software architecture so important? It is important because it provides you the communication among stakeholders, or is it because you get early design decisions, or is it because transferable abstraction of the system happens, fine, or all of the mentioned above. So as per the concept behind software architecture, we understood that all three are required, right? That's why answer, most proper answer would be answer D. So reasons of the architecture to be important would be all three: communication among stakeholder, early design decisions, and transferable abstraction of a system. Okay. Second question: why is software architecture called a vehicle for stakeholder communication? Is it because each stakeholder of a software system is concerned with different characteristics of the system affected by the architecture, or is it architecture provides a common language in which different concerns can be expressed, or is it because like all two are correct, all of the mentioned above, or is it none of the mentioned above is correct? Okay, so why do you think software architecture acts like a vehicle for a stakeholder communication? Answer B. Answer. Sorry. What would be the correct answer? See, each stakeholder of a software system is concerned with, is it with the different characteristics of the system that gets affected by the architecture? No, right? Neither it provides a common language in which different concerns can be expressed. So none of the above option would be the correct answer. That's why none of the mentioned. The answer D. Next Question 3. Suppose there is an application which you have to develop. So you act like an architect for a signal processing application. Then you have designed the application in such a way that the front end component receives sensor data from devices, and the data flow from one component to the following component. Each component subsequently transforms the data it receives and passes the transformed data to the next component. The final component passes the data to a modeling and visualization unit that renders the data to the end user. The architecture, so which architecture style would you like to use in this application? And the options are layered architecture pattern, or is it pipe and filter architecture pattern, or entire architecture pattern, or peer-to-peer architecture pattern. So if you are an architect, then for a signal processing application, what do you think, which is the most suitable architecture pattern? Is it pipe and filter, right? So pipe and filter architecture pattern would be the most suitable one. So next question, question number 4. What would happen if different organizations were given same set of requirements? It will produce the same architecture, or it will produce different architecture. Third, it may or may not produce same architecture, none of them. So when there are same set of requirements, what would happen? So answer would be B, right? Because C, it will produce different architecture irrespective of the same set of requirements. You will get a different architecture. Fine. So that's why answer B, it will produce different architecture, would be the most appropriate answer. Question number 5. What factors does a software architecture results in? Is it technical factor, or business factor, social factor, or all of the mentioned? So all three are important, no? So software architecture results in all three: technical, business, and social. So answer D, all of the mentioned, would be the correct answer. Question 6. Architectural design is a creative process satisfying only functional requirement of a system. Is it true or false? So what do you think? Is it only functional requirement that is being dealt in architectural design? No, right? So answer B would be the correct one. So false. Okay. Then what exactly you do in a software architecture design? So in architectural design, you design a system organization which satisfy both functional and non-functional requirements of a system. Okay, that is why answer B, false. Question number 7. The architect are influenced by which of the following factors? Is it customer and end user, or developing organization, or background and experience of the architect, or all of the mentioned? So what do you think, which is the most appropriate one? So it is all three, right? So the architect gets influenced by customer as well as developing organization, as well as background and experience of the architect. So answer D would be the most correct one. Okay, all of the mentioned above. Question number 8. A dash view shows the system hardware and how software components are distributed across the processor in the system. Which view would be the correct one? Is it physical view, or logical view, process view, or all of the mentioned? So physical view, right? So answer A would be the correct answer. A physical view is implemented by system engineer implementing the system hardware. So logical and process would not be the correct answer. Question number 9. Which change is accomplished by modifying a single component? A local change, or a non-local change, architectural change, or all of the mentioned? So what do you think? It is local change, right? So answer A will be the correct answer, because local change is accomplished by modifying the single component. Okay. Now let us discuss the last question, question number 10. An architecture help in evolutionary prototyping in which of the following ways? It is through potential performance problem can be identified early in the product life cycle, or the system is executable early in the product's life cycle, or all of the mentioned, or none of the mentioned. So what do you think? In what way the architecture helps in evolutionary prototyping? So obviously, right? So it is both way. So potential performance as well as system is executable early in the product life cycle. So the most correct answer would be all the mentioned above are the valid ways. Okay. So in this way, we can fine tune our knowledge by discussing some of the questions. Okay. So I hope this has given you much more depth on all the concept which was discussed in the session 1. Okay, so with this I would like to wind up my session 1. So before I wind up, I would like to express my gratitude to all these authors, because it is because of the notes or textbook being written by these authors which has helped me to develop the content for session 1. So these are some of the references. And lastly, I would like to thank you, my teammates. Okay, so thank you once again.